Movie review number 1334 is Hurry Up Tomorrow. Hurry Up Tomorrow is a 2025 movie directed by Trey Edward Shults, Shults, who also directed Waves and It Comes at Night. This movie has Lionsgate Films and Manic Phase Films, and I saw this movie on May 22nd, 2025 at Regal Cinemas 16 in Deerfield Towne Center of Mason, Ohio. So this movie is a exploration of the human psyche, a hallucinatory exploration of the human psyche. And this movie is a psychological thriller. This is about a globally famous entertainer who is struggling with photo issues and is pushed to keep performing by his relentless manager. After performing a concert, he crosses paths with an enigmatic young woman who upends his reality. What follows is a fractured, intimate odyssey that uncovers the deeper truths confronting the very core of his existence. It also features original music by the Weeknd himself, and the Weeknd stars in this movie as a fictionalized version of himself. His name is Abel Tesfaye, also known as The Weeknd. Jenna Ortega portrays Enema, a mysterious daughter fan of The Weeknd. Barry Keoghan portrays Ree, who is Abel's manager. Riley Tyrrell portrays a girl on voicemail and Amina's mother. Metro Boomin portrays a fictionalized version of himself. Barry portrays a fictionalized version of himself. Gaspard Ulty portrays a fictionalized version of himself. Xavier D. Rosnan portrays a fictionalized version of himself. And Paul L. Davis portrays Rafi, the head of a security group that works for Abel. So, it's pretty interesting how this movie was a psychological thriller about the human psyche, and how this person, known as The Weeknd, after crossing paths with a stranger who is Enema, let's just say that his life changes forever. Of course, Enema has plans for The Weeknd that The Weeknd may not be fond of. Not to mention spoilers, but let's just say there is a scene in the trailer that Enema does that is definitely shocking. And it makes you wonder what she's going to do next. Like, what are her intentions? Especially when she finds The Weeknd at this concert. And The Weeknd is just trying to figure out his life, and he's having some photo issues problems. Despite this, his manager, played by Barry Keoghan, is wanting him to perform and go on. And he does. But let's just say that he's not really up for it. Of course, when he meets Enema after the concert, that's when everything changes. At first, things seem to be going good, and there's a little bit of romance involved. But then Enema reveals her true intentions, and this causes the Weeknd to be like, what is going on? And so this movie is a psychological exploration of the human psyche through hallucinations and reality. And it's pretty interesting how Trey Edward Shults, who I previously saw with Waves a few years ago, it was interesting how he directed the movie. At times, the movie took place in the present, but there are other times where you see the human psyche or the psychological part of the movie that makes you wonder what's going to happen to these characters, especially to the Weeknd, who Enema is like having. I wouldn't say hostage, well, hostage a little bit, but putting the Weeknd in a hotel room and not letting him leave. But yeah, this was pretty good. Unfortunately, the movie didn't exactly do well at the box office. I will say this was a movie that you might want to see again to understand the better picture of it. But I still thought it was pretty good. It is also interesting that the main character in the movie goes through this odyssey to figure out his true self and to figure out who this enema is and what does she want with the weekend. Pretty interesting. So I thought it was pretty good. So that's my movie review of Hurry Up Tomorrow, Precinct 2 for this movie review. Alright, goodbye.